Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am bringing you back for my garden series. I think this should be part 3 or 4. I'll figure it out when I go to do the description. But welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about seeds. Not my new seeds that I ordered, obviously. I was looking around about 3 weeks ago on MI Gardener, and there were no seeds that I bought last year that were available. Honest to goodness, I couldn't even get a pack of carrot seeds, so I'm gonna have to purchase them somewhere else. But yeah, I wanted to turn on the camera today. I think this will be part 3 for the people that are following along, in case you've been gardening for years and years like I have, or you may be a new gardener, or someone that might want to give this a whirl. Feel free to go back and take a look. I did one video on just explaining this series, and then I think I did 2 videos on why I plant everything from seed now after gardening all these years. So let's see, the first thing I wanted to tell you is yeah, I couldn't find my order for my MI Gardener seeds, so I had to give them a call, and they should be coming in any day, thank God. And I wanted to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Welcome. It's great to have you here. Today we are going to talk about February. We are in the beginning of February and what you can actually plant in the month of February. So with that being said, I do have my handy dandy notebook, and I'm going to go over what you can start to plant inside your house in the month of February. Now, in case you didn't know why some people start seeds indoors, all depends on where you live, when's your last frost date, when's your beginning frost date. Something, for an example, like eggplants. You can absolutely start eggplants now in the beginning of February because you will be giving them a jump start. What that means exactly is, could you take an eggplant seed and plant it in the ground come spring once the ground is workable? Yes. By the time the plant grows, you may not get full value of that seed because you might not get a lot of eggplants off of that seed because it depends on your growing season. So with that being said, all you have to do is go to the Farmer's Almanac, wherever you live, and ask when your last frost date is, and that will give you a time frame. I think a lot of gardening channels say count 10 days backwards of the last frost, and there's kind of like your safe zone of when you can start planting outside. So I want to get a jump start for the 2020 garden. And with that being said, I thought I would bring you along today so that you can have an idea of what you can plant inside your house in February. And yeah, first thing we're going to talk about are these Tabasco peppers that I started like March last year. And by the time they actually got up to my hip, my waist, it was already freezing here. Just a prime example. I planted quite a few of these. It didn't turn out well for me. I wanted a bunch of these because I wanted to make some Tabasco powder, which is something I did with a lot of my jalapenos, which I will discuss in another video. But something like these Tabasco peppers, they need a lot of time. So I was going to get them started. So I did write a little bit of a list in case you want to follow along. Like I said, you can go back to the other videos so that you're on the same path that I'm on. So my mess back here. These are all my cells, my 72 cell counts, and the water trays that I did bring into my den. I tried to do this video earlier today, but my battery died. And I'm not turning anything into a 2-part video, so I'm just going to redo it. So I have my 72 cell counts, some cups. You can see that, some cups that have drainage in the bottom that a friend of mine gives me. I have some lids. I also have a spray bottle available because this is where I'm going to plant my seeds at, is inside my den. I will make another video in a little bit to show you the type of setup that I'm using here in my townhouse. I'm not using professional grow lights or anything like that. So everything that I did last year is basically what I'm going to do this year. The only thing that's a little bit different is the factor that my seeds are late. I think last year I got my seeds February the 2nd, and today's the 5th. I will try to upload this video as soon as possible, but today is the 5th. I still don't have my seeds, so I'm just pretty much waiting on them. So I figured while I was waiting, let me go through some of my seed packs and see what I have that's left over that I can actually plant now inside the house and get somewhat of a jump start. So first thing on the list is, let's talk about what dirt do I use. I am an organic gardener. I don't use any pesticides. I know some people might disagree on what seedling dirt or potting soil that you should use. I'm just going to keep it as real as possible. I bought a really big bag of Miracle-Gro potting soil last year, and it got me through most of the winter all of the winter actually, on all my seeds that I started. I had extra dirt left over for some of my pots that are on my deck that I plant my herbs in. So that big bag went a long way. Some people may not like Miracle-Gro. I'm fine with it. It worked. It's affordable. I got the really big bag, and I think it was like $14. So I want to show you this very quickly. I do have, because I bought a second bag towards like fall, so I have like a quarter to a half a bag in an industrial trash bag that was left over from last season, and I also did get a brand new big bag. So that's the dirt that I use. So let's start off with that. I use Miracle-Gro potting soil. I do not use topsoil. I do not recommend you using topsoil. Seedlings like loose dirt. So you can use seedling soil if that's great for you. You can use a different brand if that works for you too. I'm just going to explain how I do this on a budget and take you through the steps of how, if you go all the way back and look at my garden videos on how I got all that stuff, was just strictly by seeds. And I wanted to start this off by discussing the dirt. So that's the dirt that I buy. I buy the big bag of Miracle-Gro from like a Home Depot. I do have some that's left over. Mine was triple knotted, put inside an industrial bag. But I don't know if you know this or not. Always be careful if you do have an open bag of soil. You don't want like gnats or like a fungus to get in the dirt. If you do have an open bag, no worries. Dump the dirt in the bin, boil some tea kettle water, and pour it all over the dirt till you soak it, till the dirt absorbs it. You'll automatically kill anything that may be in your soil. I do not recommend you going outside and taking any potting soil out of one of your pots, because that won't work for your new seedlings. You want to give them a great chance in survival, and do not take any dirt from out of your garden. Do not purchase topsoil, just purchase potting soil or seedling soil. That's what I do. So that's the first thing that I did besides order my seeds. And I do have that spare bag that's about a quarter of a bag to a half a bag that I will end up using. And I bought the real big bag of Miracle-Gro to get started for the 2020 garden. So today we're basically going to be discussing things that take the longest to grow and why you should give them a jump start inside your house if you can manage to do that. I do suggest you get a head start. It gives you the opportunity to actually be able to have a very flourishing garden and receive a lot of the fruits or vegetables off of it by giving it a head start in the house. So what are some of the things that take the longest? I did say the Rosa Blanca eggplants, any eggplants actually, like the Black Beauties. These are the two that I grew last year, and I didn't start them early enough, and I didn't get a ton. And normally I am used to getting a lot of, my hair's annoying me tonight. I'm used to getting a lot of eggplants, but don't forget, the year before I used to buy, not last year, the year before that, I used to buy all my plants from a box store. So it was easy peasy, just put it right in the ground. When you're doing it by seed, it's a little bit different. So eggplants, that's the first thing that you can start in February. That's what I would recommend, and that's what I'm going to do. So I am bringing you along so that you can see exactly what seeds I'm going to start in case you want to do the step-by-step process. Whether you're a newbie gardener, give it a try. It's a lot easier than it seems. Like I said, I've been gardening a long time, but I've never done anything by seed before, except maybe some sunflowers. So start off with getting your eggplants. Let me move a little bit closer. So you can start with your eggplants. You can obviously start your tomatoes and peppers. I think it's a little early right now for your tomatoes and peppers. I mean, if you want to start them, you can. I'm not starting them just yet. You can plant things in here. If you were to start your peppers and tomatoes now in, you know, a cell count or whatever, or one of these 6 count little things that you get when you purchase something. These were all washed. That's in a previous video. You have to remember something. If you start things too early, they're going to outgrow this, or they're going to outgrow this by the time it's ready and the ground is workable, and the chance of there not being any more frost or freezing nights, you will end up having to replant them. Just wanted to let you know that. That's why I'm not starting. I still will be let me repeat myself. I will be transplanting my peppers and tomatoes either way. I'm just not starting them yet. So what I'm trying to explain is, if you start your peppers and tomatoes now in these little cell counts, you will have to take them out of here. You can use a little plastic cup that has drainage. You can use a red Solo cup. I pulled some of this out to give you an example. Even if you wash up an old Dunkin' Donuts cup and put 2 holes on the bottom, you can use that as well. Or these little extra pots. Just remember, if you plant too early, you are going to be transplanting them. And then after you go from, say, this size to this size, you may have to go to like the bigger pots. And that's what you kind of want to avoid. So look up wherever you live, find out when your last frost date is, count 10 days or 2 weeks prior to that last frost date. But there's usually a time frame for certain things to be planted. So with peppers and tomatoes, I will be doing them soon, just not the first week of February. That's a little too soon, or I will be blowing through all this and having to put a tomato plant in a big gigantic pot. So I just wanted to explain that. But do remind yourself when you start things off in your seed trays, once they germinate, if it has a cover, a clear cover lid, like one of these right here, you can see that. Once the seeds come up, you can take it right off. Also, I wanted to give, since this is like, I'm on a budget, this is how I garden on a budget, I wanted to give you a couple pointers as well. I forgot to mention this in the previous video. Let me grab this. If you do not have all the 72 cell counts or whatnot, you can hold on to things like a rotisserie chicken container, wash it out, hot soapy water, make sure it's thoroughly clean. You can absolutely use this to germinate some seeds. Make sure you put some holes in the bottom of the container, put some potting soil on the top here. You can sprinkle your seeds across. And then you would just put the lid on and use this as a little greenhouse, because it would hold the condensation under the lid. So that's one idea. You can also, the cakes from the bakery that have the square with the sides and the clear lid, you can clean that up. You can also use that as a place to germinate your seeds. Maybe something like this. It may have been used for hors d'oeuvres, or it could have been a vegetable tray. You can put holes in the bottom of this and also use this to germinate some seeds of your choice. But this is a really good way to save money if you aren't like me, who kind of saved on to some cell counts or some cups. I also got 272 cell counts that I did a review on back a few videos if you want to go take a look at that. But I washed all my seed cells. That's all good to go. I just wanted to point out that there are some economically smart ways to be able to do some seeds if you're like in a little apartment, or you really don't have the money to go to a box store to buy seed trays or Walmart. There are lots of options. Don't forget your bakery. Save your cake pans. You can germinate seeds in there. Okay, so I'm trying not to bounce around. I wanted to do this gardening series in steps. And this is, I think, the third step, which was to discuss the dirt, which I've already explained. I used Miracle-Gro, potting soil, and all my plants grew fantastic last year. And how you can find economically smart things and use them to germinate some seeds. Back to my handy dandy little list over here. I did explain things. I'm going to go a little bit further and explain things that take a little bit longer to grow, and what I am going to start growing the beginning of February, which I wrote on a list. I've already explained to you. I'm going to start my seeds for my eggplants because they take a while. My Tabasco hot peppers, I think I've already explained. I really didn't get a lot of peppers off of this. I'm going to try this again this year. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm not going to do it again. What else? You can start all of your herbs. Here are my herbs. They're not from M.I. Gardener. I had them all separated earlier. And I am going to walk you step by step of things that I am going to grow now at the beginning of February. Sweet basil, I'm going to start that because I think that herbs take a lot longer to germinate. So I will be doing a video and teaching you a little trick on how you can get your seeds to germinate. That will be in the next video. But as far as things that you can start now, we said eggplant and the Tabasco hot peppers. I'm going to do the sweet basil, and I also have, I think it said Genovese basil that I picked off of some plants last year. I saved some of the seeds. I'm also going to grow that basil and some dwarf basil. I have some mint, some spearmint. I do have a big pot out there now that has mint in it, which, just a word of advice, you're better off planting any type of mint, spearmint, inside of a container and not in your garden, because it will completely take over, and you don't want that because that's a disaster. I'm going to start some common rosemary. Let's see if I can bring you guys just a little bit closer. Bear with me 1 second. I had to clear across the room. Yes, I'm going to start some common rosemary. This is the broadleaf sage. I'm going to be starting that now in the month of February. I like to grow lots of sage because I make sure that I grow enough for the holidays. Stuffings, sage bread. It does go in your stuffing. Anything that has to do with Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, I have my sage for all my holiday cooking. Another one that I'm going to be starting is common sage. I am going to start that. And some Italian dark green parsley. I'm going to start planting, and some dill. I'm going to start planting dill. So that is, I think, all of my herbs besides the dwarf basil that I saved some seeds off of last year. And I think it said, feel free to correct me down below in the comments, I think it's called Genevieve basil. I did learn something last year. The Italian basil doesn't do as great. It always gets very woodsy very quickly, and I stumbled across this basil that I literally fell in love with. If you want to see how great that basil looks, you're going to have to go all the way back to when I first started YouTube because of the way my gardens looked, and I just turned on my phone camera, and here we are. But the basil, that particular basil is fantastic, so I did save some of the seeds. I'm also going to be planting that. So start all of your herb seeds because they take a little while. And that's great for something like this as well. If you want to do a bunch of, say, sage, you could put the soil in here. Just make sure you put drainage holes, and you could sprinkle your seeds right across. Keep this lid on until you see your seedlings pop. Make sure you have it where it can get some light. You don't want them to get leggy. This would be a great idea for something that you can put your herb seeds in. I may actually use that because on to the next thing that I'm going to be planting is zinnias. I saved a lot of my zinnia seeds, and a nice woman that I met from at the community garden gave me a bunch of zinnia seeds as well. But they're actually on the plant. I have to pick all the seeds off. So I am going to be planting my zinnia seeds as well now because I want them to have a good shot. I had zinnias all over last year because of all the rain in spring. It moved all my seeds everywhere. And I definitely love the zinnias, and I want to give them a great start, hopefully for the beginning of spring. So that is also on my list. If you have like a love for zinnias, you can start them now too in the beginning of February. I do plant sunflowers, but last year I planted them very early, like around this time last year, and they got very leggy and whatnot. I like to usually just put them in the ground, but I am going to start a few, probably not until maybe March. And I think I'm going to start off with my sunflower seeds in different cups like this, so that it gets a good root system, and then I can just transplant it right out to the garden. So you should get yourself a book, a pen, make yourself a little list so that you can keep track of everything that you need to plant now. At the very end, I'll do a quick run over of everything. So I just told you the sunflowers, I'm not doing them right now. I will wait till like March to do the sunflowers. Definitely going to plant zinnia seeds now. And what else? Let's see. So eggplants, you can plant ground cherries right now because they take a little bit. You can do leeks. You can plant okra. This is the Clemson spineless okra. I didn't really get okra last year because I just ordered the seeds, and I think I tried okra like years and years ago, but I didn't like it then. But it grows beautiful flowers on it, and I hear a lot of people talking about frying okra. So as an older adult now, I'm going to try to give these a whirl. So I'm definitely going to plant my okra as well. I already told you about the Tabasco peppers. You can plant them now. I probably am not going to say this right, but tomatillos, or yeah, however you guys say that, correct me down below. They're green. It looks like a tomato. It kind of is in the tomato family. Just probably pronouncing it wrong. You can also plant those right now as well. Now, this is a discussion. You have a choice if you want to do broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, chives, fennel, kale, or onion. You can just wait and plant them out in the ground. Like I said, it all depends on your last frost, how long of a growing season you have. But for me, I didn't do really well with my cabbages last year. I had a big problem with the moth yeah, the moths, eating at them constantly. And I am an organic gardener, so I don't use pesticides. But I just recently researched I call it a blanket. It's a ground cover. It's like a 3-in-1 that I found on Amazon. Just look up ground cover. I think it did for winter, for snow, for freezing, and also for like bug protection. If I can get my hands on the ground cover from Amazon, then I will be trying green cabbages again. But I only got 2 heads off of that. So me personally, I'm not waiting to put broccoli, cauliflower, or any of those things outside. I am going to plant them as well in the house. So for an example, the self-plant cauliflower, I'm going to be planting that now, beginning of February. I'm also going to be planting some Swiss chard, the rainbow mixture. The reason being I wanted to talk about this seed for a second is the reason why I'm going to do this one in the house, in case you never grew Swiss chard before, which I didn't until last year. This is phenomenal in salads. That's how I ate it. You can plant in a 6 cell, because each seed that comes up, I'm trying to see if I explain this exactly. Each seed comes up, has like 6 or 8 leaves. You get like a bunch in one. So 6 will actually give you a good bit. So I'm definitely going to be planting the rainbow mixture Swiss chard. I really did like that last year. I also planted that in a bus pan box, and it worked out well. I liked it in my salads. Let's see. I am going to be doing cabbages. I have a few left over in here from last year. Hopefully I'm able to get the ground cover to protect it from the bugs, and then I'll give this a try again this year, but I'm going to start these now. Some calabrese broccoli. I planted broccoli last year, but only 6. It was so good. I definitely didn't plant enough, so I'm definitely going to be planting more broccoli. And some Waltman 29 broccoli. I'm going to be planting those seeds inside. And I'm going to plant some kale inside. It's not too early for kale. Something like the pak choy cabbage, which I love, I will not be planting inside because it really does grow very easy. So let's see. I think that might be everything that I am starting. Here's another kale. This is an heirloom. It's the dwarf blue curled vates, I guess is how you say it. Someone gave me a pack of this, so I'm going to be planting that kale. And I think that I'm going to start my Long Island Brussels sprouts, and I may do another batch later on in the season. That's a little trick too as well. For an example, moving into the next subject, you don't want to plant things now indoors. Carrots, red beets. Let me see, because I'm pretty sure I wrote that down for you all. What I consider to be outside only seeds that I would plant would be beans, like a bush bean or pole bean. You can put that right in the ground in spring. Beets I'm not really good at least last season I wasn't with the seeds. I think I got 2, but I'm going to try them again. Like I said, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to try the beets again, but that is something that's a root vegetable. It usually does not like to be disturbed. Some people say that they do try them in, I guess, the seed cells. I don't know if it's this size or not, and they do okay. I did hear that you can buy gardening tape, and you could put a beet seed, space it on the tape, and then you bury the tape over with the dirt. If I can find the gardening tape this year, I may do that in order to learn how to grow better beets. But that's another thing. So these are just things strictly to plant outside only. So the beans, I've already discussed that. You don't want to plant beets now. Carrots, you plant them right in the ground. You don't start them inside. They don't do very well. Same with your corn, parsnips, your peas, your sugar snap peas. That's a little questionable. Use your best discretion for that. I may try, but not right now. I may try just doing like a little 6 cell and planting some peas in there because they can go either way. It's going to be like an experiment for me to see if it does work, but the percentage of the time you really shouldn't do peas inside. I'm just going to try it as an experiment to see if I can get at least 6 started for the beginning of spring because they don't mind it being a little bit cooler. Potatoes, obviously you want to start them outside. I do have potato seeds already going so that they will be ready. I will probably plant them in the ground the beginning of April, depending on the weather. Radishes, it's another thing. They just go right into the ground. Rutabagas and turnips. You plant them right in the ground. So I'm going to say the list for outside only one more time in case you want to, you know, jot this down or take notes. Beans, beets, carrots, corn, parsnips, potatoes, radishes, rutabaga, turnips, and some of the pea family. You do not want to plant them indoors. You want to wait till spring and you plant them outside. So yeah, let's go over my list for the new gardening series. I think this may be part 3 of what I'm exactly going to plant again. I am going to plant cauliflower. You can plant it right in the ground or you can plant it inside, and I want to give it a jump start. I didn't get the opportunity to grow cauliflower last year. I'm going to retry Tabasco hot peppers. You want to start your eggplants now because they need some more time. You can also do chives. I do have a bucket already out there. Last year was its 2nd or 3rd year and it finally got the purplish flowers on it. But I am going to be planting some more chives. You can also plant fennel. You can plant your kales now inside. And you can also plant onions inside, believe it or not. So, yeah. My list is completely going to consist of my eggplants, my Tabasco peppers, cauliflowers, all of my herbs I'm going to plant now. Swiss chard rainbow mixture I'm going to plant. My kales, I'm going to start them. My broccolis, I will definitely start them right now. Cabbage, I did order the red cabbage. I'm super excited to grow that this year, but that's in my new order. That's not here yet. When I do get that order of seeds, I will do a reveal. I guess that's what you call it. Basically, I'll do a video on the seeds that I purchased from My Gardener. I am also going to plant my Brussels sprouts, some okra, some zinnia flowers, and I think that may be it. So that is the stuff that you can start now. We gardeners can't wait to get our hands dirty. So I want to get some things started and get them to germinate, which I will do another video in the next few days. I've been trying to be a lot more consistent by posting a video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So far that's working. The time isn't exactly correct though, because if I upload it in the morning, it could be in an hour. Sometimes it could be 3 hours. If you upload it at night, it just takes longer. So I haven't gotten the system down on the exact time, but so far I am liking Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays uploading a video. If something was to change with that later down the road, I will definitely let you know. But this is for the gardening series that I started. If you haven't caught the beginning, I initially sat down and spoke why I no longer buy plants and I plant everything by seed. Please go back and take a look at that. And then I did 2 more videos, which are 2 steps. What do you start off doing first? What's the second step? Also, I did discuss, I think on the last video in this gardening series, is to go through your seeds, see what you loved, what you didn't like, and place an order. I mean, I tried to place my order 3 weeks ago. There was nothing available. So this is the time of the year, no matter where you buy your seeds from, where some things just may be sold out. People are getting ready. So yeah, so this is going to be, I think, part 3 or part 4. You'll know up in the title. I'll figure that one out. But yeah, so I wanted to bring you along and let you know of some things that take the longest. I am going to be doing tomatoes and peppers. That'll be in a totally different video when I go to do my tomatoes and pepper seeds. If you want to use that as a time frame to do your peppers and tomatoes indoors, if that helps, great. This is basically just going to be a gardening series that I'm going to do from beginning to end of me actually picking the stuff off the vine. That is the game plan here. We'll see how that goes because, like I said, this is only going to be my second time of trying to grow everything by seeds. And some of the seeds that I ordered this year, because a lot of other things were out. My one strap keeps falling on my shirt. Yeah, so like I said, some of the seeds that I ordered from My Gardener this year are going to be completely different than what I had last year. So the challenge last year for myself was see if I can grow everything by seed. I obviously could do it. So if I could do it, you could do it out there. And I've been gardening for years and years. I just took the easy, fast way, the expensive way, and that was just buying them at a box store. And when you purchase plants from a box store, you're usually limited to whatever variety that they put there, which usually goes around locally. I do feel as if you go and purchase seeds, you can get all different types of, you know, tastes and styles of different broccolis and different carrots. Usually box stores, you don't get a big variety. So that's a big reason, and I wanted to be able to show that someone like myself can do all this on a budget. I only buy seeds once a year from My Gardener. That's becoming like my thing now, is just getting my seeds at a certain point. They're usually here by like February 2nd, but they're running late. And I know I've mentioned that a few times, but I've already called looking for them, and it just shipped 2 days ago. So hopefully they'll be here on Friday. If they are here on Friday, I will make a video and bring you along because I'll be super excited to show you all the seeds. So yeah, I want to thank all the new subscribers. I really appreciate, you know, welcome. Thank you for coming to the channel. I hope that, you know, everyone stays. I wanted to do this gardening series like I was trying to explain for maybe someone that's gardened for years and years like I did and didn't know to just buy a pack of seeds until I got into the self-reliant type of mindset and just wanting a bigger variety of vegetables in my garden. And yeah, I got turned on to seeds and I love it. I would never turn back to buying, you know, just like Bonnie Bell plants, let's just say, from a box store. So if you want to go back and take a look at the other videos, feel free. My intentions is to bring you along step by step. So that was today's intentions. Sorry if I rambled. Your next step, which is right now, is to go get whatever potting or seedling soil that you like to use. And if you're not familiar with any different particular brands, I use Miracle Grow potting soil. Works for me. I can only suggest it to you. You might find some twigs in there. You can use a colander to, you know, shake the dirt through it or just pick it out. I had zero problems with Miracle Grow, and that's what I'm going to use again. I did say that I would keep everything as real as possible on this channel and as honest as I can possibly be. I used Miracle Grow. Some people, like I said, may not like that, but it worked for me. So go get yourself your dirt, and if you already have some seeds, get out some of your cooler seeds like your broccolis, your red cabbages, your green cabbage, your kale, your cauliflowers. If you have Tabasco peppers or your eggplants, and get them started now along with your kales, and you'll already have a jump start. Beginning of February, you can get your hands in the dirt and you can start planting some of your seedlings. So I will bring you along, and all your herbs. Don't forget to start planting all of them as well right now. So if you're like me, who's dying to get outside and I'm never in the house come spring and summer, I'm looking really forward to this year's gardening. I think last year was amazing, but amazing for me as a newbie doing everything by seed. I'm hoping to have it a little bit more organized this year, and I'm starting to figure out where I want to put everything. So you can also start on drawing out like a little design of however your garden is and get an idea on where you want to plant things. You can also be doing that right now. But yeah, today's video is the things that take the longest to grow and the things that you could start indoors right now. So that's why I wanted to bring you on in case you want to follow step by step with me. I am starting my eggplants, my ground cherries, my leeks, my okras, my Tabasco peppers, my broccoli, my cabbages, my cauliflower, my chives, fennel, all my kale, my onions, my Brussels sprouts, all my herbs, and my zinnias. So hopefully that just covered everything that I'm going to start right now that needs a really good jump start. Get yourself a notebook. You can always go back to these videos and write a little cheat sheet. But today is the 5th, and I will try to get this out as soon as possible. You might see this on Friday, maybe. So needless to say, that's the next step. That's what I'm going to do. That is what I do. And I thought that that might be informative information for anyone that wants to possibly start. Even if you want to start an herb garden, like I said, you can plant some herb seeds in containers like these without having to spend a lot of money. If you're on a budget, you can plant some of your seedlings in here, and as soon as they grow up, you're going to take them out. As soon as they're seedlings, you're just going to take them out ever so gently, and you can plant them in cups like this. I have boxfuls. As long as they have 2 holes for drainage and a tray to sit on, you'll be good to go. So there are lots of ways, if you are a newbie gardener, of just use your imagination, save your cake plates from the bakery. I also did want to discuss that as well as a little bit of a pointer on just maybe some odd and end things you may have around your house so that you can get started. If you've never done a garden before, take a chance. You will be so tickled with yourself that you can, get a green thumb. You can do it. You can plant something. It will grow. If you want to follow these steps along the way with me, feel free. I hope it helps someone that maybe has never gardened before. I also hope that it helps someone like myself a couple years ago who has been this big gardener and never even planted a seed besides sunflowers before. So my logic is to grow what you eat. And that's a big reason why I am planting the things that I want to eat. I don't want pesticides and stuff on my foods in the supermarkets or anything like that. That is a discussion for a whole other video that I will get into. But that is my main reason. Plant your seeds. Whatever you plant, make sure it's something that you like so that you can actually eat it. If you're looking to do a vegetable garden, or if you want to just do an herb garden, just try. You can do it, I'm sure. And for people that are following along on the series that maybe have gardened before, or maybe you're not sure, like I used to be clueless and didn't know. That's why, like I said, I'm making this video, this gardening series part 3. The next step is so that get yourself a notebook and write down everything that you're going to grow. That's exactly what I did, so I can stay a little bit more organized, not get overwhelmed. And yeah, so very quickly, I will say it one more time of what I'm going to plant so that you can decide if you have those seeds and, maybe you want to plant the same things. Eggplants take a while, so we got to get them going. The Tabasco hot peppers take a while. Cauliflower you can start planting now, along with any type of broccoli that you have. Plant lots more broccoli than you anticipate because I didn't grow enough last year, and it was fantastic. You can plant your kales now, your Swiss chard. You can start your cabbages now. You can plant your Brussels sprouts and your okra, along with all of your herbs. You can start them now inside your house. And if you're a person like me who likes zinnias, you can plant them now. So that's the list for the beginning of February. What can you plant now inside your house? I hope this was helpful to everyone. And I look forward to the next video, which may be on Friday if my other seeds come in. But yeah, hey, buy yourself some seeds, no matter where you got them. Try it. I find it a form of therapy. I find it to be extremely relaxing. I love gardening, and I hope you do too. I hope that you stick around for the gardening series. I hope this was helpful for you to know what you can plant now inside and what you cannot plant inside, which are your beans, your beets, your carrots, your corn, your parsnips, your like sugar snap peas, your potatoes, radishes, rutabagas, and turnips. Don't plant those seeds inside the house right now. Save them for the spring, but I will take you along step by step on this series. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. I will definitely respond back. Thank you again to the new subscribers and just all my wonderful subscribers. I think I'm at 57. So that's exciting as well. I'm happy to have you all here. And let's smash the like button. If you do stumble across the video and you're not a subscriber, join us. Feel free, hit the subscribe button, and this will be gardening, cooking, and baking, and maybe some DIYs and things of that nature. That's what this channel is going to be, and I'm excited to bring you along for this, series. It's exciting to me because I didn't know a lot of stuff last year, and I learned a lot by planting seeds. So I want to bring you along. I hope that you stick it out. I hope you buy a pack of carrots for spring, or let me get you a bright pack of carrots for spring. And I hope that you're looking forward to having a garden. If you don't have a lot of space for a garden, get some big pots. I'm going to do a video on that as well, on how you can grow a garden in a small area. I don't have a huge piece of property. I don't have tons of acres. I have a little area, and I got a lot of food out of my gardening area here. Also, keep in mind, if you go back to my older videos on my gardens, I did find a community garden. How convenient, across the street from where I live. And I purchased a couple of their raised beds there, so keep that in mind. You can also start looking into that right now if you need a spot to plant. So yeah, that is going to be it for today, guys. Get out your seeds, everything that I just named on the list, and get your cell counts ready, and let's start planting. So I named everything that you can plant right now at the beginning of February, and let's go. Let's plant our seeds, and until next time, break a leg and let's dig it.